And it was this rebellious act ever since known as the Boston Tea Party that caused the angry English king, Mad George III, to send 5,000 additional troops to further occupy the city, declared martial law. The British warships which brought them here blockaded the port, cutting off the city's vital lifeline of commerce and supply. The king intended to starve the city into submission and force repayment of the tea, set an example of rebellious Boston to the colony, but it was the occupation and blockade of Boston, followed by the siege of the Minutemen around the city, that set the stage for all the events that inevitably and irreversibly triggered the American Revolution. These days in America, of course, we now have representation with our taxation. It's part of what the revolution was about, but somehow, yet still, these taxes remain. Perhaps another revolution is in order. And speaking of taxes, just to the left of the bridge, a large red brick building with a sloping glass front. This is the new federal courthouse here in Boston. $225 million tax dollars right there. Only $110 million over the original budget, but it provides the judges there with fines, walnut bookcases, and desks, granite marble commons, and chambers, all of which are essential to the administration of justice here in Boston. All the land on our right side here now is South Boston. It's built entirely on landfill, with part of the harbor there at one time to the high ground in the distance. 3/4 of Boston's total land area is built entirely on landfill. This is the new Seaport District of Boston. It used to be the leather and garment district of the city, a huge industry throughout New England at one time. But today there's a new convention center here, hotels and offices going up, and great plans for the future of the Seaport District of Boston. And as we
don't know, so we're hoping to get a lot of great information to form a genetic catalog out here. Right now we're only tracking these whales from all private families. The reason for that is the primary caretakers, the females of the primary caretakers, are about 10% bigger than the males overall. So these dogs are probably going to surface and when they turn back in here. Here we go. 10 o'clock. So in this particular spot, looks like the copepods are right at the surface there. 10 o'clock. So this is Hancock on the right now still. Not sure who the other well is. I think it might be a well. Yeah, turn it once again right back into that spot. Hopefully they won't show up in the glare here. On the left-hand side. The other well is possibly a whale named Nimbus, but I'll have to see if I can get a better look at the underside here. So the females are the primary caretakers of these humpback whales, and with all the baleen whales, about 10% bigger than the males overall. We actually really only trace these whales. They're not going to find enough food in one spot to sustain an entire family group. So.
And it was this rebellious act ever since known as the Boston Tea Party that caused the angry English king, Mad George III, to send 5,000 additional troops to further occupy the city, declared martial law. The British warships which brought them here blockaded the port, cutting off the city's vital lifeline of commerce and supply. The king intended to starve the city into submission and force repayment of the tea, set an example of rebellious Boston to the colony, but it was the occupation and blockade of Boston, followed by the siege of the Minutemen around the city, that set the stage for all the events that inevitably and irreversibly triggered the American Revolution. These days in America, of course, we now have representation with our taxation. It's part of what the revolution was about, but somehow, yet still, these taxes